What's up, everybody? So, should you put your thumb around the neck when you play? Shouldn't you? I'm here to tell you. This is the authoritative video over what you should do. So listen to me. It depends. A lot of great musicians have done it. I'm sure you've asked this question because maybe your guitar teacher told you that it was bad technique, but your favorite guitarist is Jimi Hendrix, or you like blues guitar, or things like that. And a lot of those people will wrap their thumb around the neck. So here's my take on it. You should learn how to do both, first of all, obviously. When you're learning other people's songs, you should do your very best to play the guitar like them while you're playing that song. There's plenty of good reasons for why, but the main one is sound. You just want it to sound the way that it sounds when they play. And there's some mojo to just, holding the guitar like them, standing like them, or, I don't know, using a pick, not using a pick. All these things, impact the way that that person thinks and the way that that person feels, and thus the way that they play music. So whatever it is that they're doing that you're trying to emulate in terms of sound, you should just do everything that they do. Just learn as much as you can. So do that, first of all. First things first. Second of all, it depends because of repetitive stress injuries. So if any of you have ever suffered a repetitive stress injury, specifically something like carpal tunnel or a tendonitis in your hands, then you know that playing guitar can make it worse. And that sucks. I've had tendonitis in my hands before, actually both hands at the same time, and it was awful, honestly. It took me months and months and months to recover. And at the time, I was working a day job where I used my hands for my work, and it was just a very long and arduous recovery process that I really wouldn't wish on anyone. So if you can find a way to play guitar that relaxes the muscles in your hands that are at risk for overuse, so specifically this tendon here often, if you maybe that's not as descriptive as a doctor, but if you basically tuck your thumb under your fingers and then just push your wrist or push your fist forward and down, you can feel a little, you can feel something right here, and this is where this tendon here that goes up to your thumb is often the one that gets abused by guitarists and computer users, smartphone users, and so many other things. So it's competing with a lot of other activities. So there's a high risk of overuse. So anyway, if you can find a way to relax that tendon while you play, do it. It's worth it. As far as bar chords go, which I think is the reason most people ask that question, as far as whether they should wrap their thumb around the neck, here's what I think. First of all, most people don't even play bar chords right, so I'm hesitant to recommend that they abandon trying to play bar chords, because most of my students that I've seen struggle with this and ask me about different ways to play bar chords, they really never stick with one method long enough to really master anything, and they just sort of get stuck at the bar chord stage, and it's a drag. So give it a real try. Practice a lot. Practice the guitar every day. And if you're doing it every day and practicing your bar chords every day, eventually you're going to find a way to play them. But yeah, so sort of my bar chord primer as far as not wrapping your thumb around the neck. You need to have your thumb in the middle of the back of the neck, and it needs to be generally pointed up toward the ceiling, although mine's kind of slanted sometimes like this as well. You essentially want your thumb to always be underneath your hand. So usually if I'm playing a major bar chord, like right now I'm playing G major, my thumb is underneath basically where my middle finger is at, and it kind of acts as like a clamp in that way. So just think about where your thumb, just think about your thumb placement. That's usually the biggest mistake that I see for people struggling with bar chords, is their thumb is all out of whack. Way, you know, I know you can't really see what I'm talking about, but like, you know, the bar chord is here and the thumb is over here somewhere, and they should be aligned. And that's a huge problem, and that puts a lot of stress on that tendon that I was referring to. So don't do that. So as far as wrapping your thumb around the neck goes, like I said, you know, obviously famous players do it and it's awesome. I do it. It actually feels a little bit more relaxing for me, even though I don't always play bar chords this way. I especially like to do it when I'm playing in the key of C or in the key of F, so that I can easily switch between F and C. So that's really nice for that purpose. I also like it because I feel like I can separate out the bass note that my thumb is playing a little bit from the rest of the chord, which is cool. I think that's why people like Jimi Hendrix did it too. You can kind of play more bass lines with your thumb and mute them without muting the rest of the strings in the chord, which is kind of high level stuff, but it's pretty awesome when it sounds cool. Should you put your thumb around the neck? I don't know. Try it and see if you like it. And if your hand is relaxed and you can get all the notes in the chord to sound out, then it's probably fine. But if it hurts your hand, or if you still haven't learned how to play bar chords in all the ways, then maybe don't just rely on that one way. Maybe try other ways too, because other musicians do it differently. And if you want to be the best you can be, try it every way, man. It's just bar chords. It's just a tiny little sliver of all the things that you can do with music, so just try it. Okay, that does it for this one. Hope you liked my take, and I'll see you in other videos.